Good to see everyone. Big week here. The days are long and the weeks are short here. So finally, here we are. We've been talking about this moment for a long time with this group, probably back since I first arrived in December, and what it would take to get back here and start our journey. And yeah, extremely proud of this group and their development over the course of this season. Resilience through some significant adversity, and I know that we arrive here at the eve of this tournament about as good as we could hope to be in this moment. So looking forward to seeing what we do with the opportunity. We've been in this kind of mode for about a month, I'd say. We've been in tournament mode for almost a month, where we felt as if we need to win every match in front of us, that if we want to play on day 2 of a weekend, we got to win on day 1. So feel really comfortable in this moment with this group and what to expect from them. Playing a great Utah State team, a team with a winning mentality, a team that is extremely aggressive from the service line, some great outside hitters who are smart, well coached, low error. There's a reason why they've been as dominant as they have been in the Mountain West these past 2 years. So walking in with a lot of respect for our opponent, and we'll be certainly preparing for that as much. So one last bit of gratitude to the fans here at University of Minnesota. I think attendance has come out. I think we're 4th in overall attendance, averaging over 5,000 fans per match. Just tremendous, unbelievable for us, and a sign of things to go for the sport. So thanks to the community for sticking with us through all these ups and downs.
What are the Gophers going to bring to this tournament that's going to be kind of their distinguishing skill or talent that's going to make the other teams, a little more intimidated, or know that this is what the Gophers are going to be bringing that's different?
Yeah, we've had a number of different strengths at times. We can be a dangerous serving team. We can be a dangerous blocking team. Our opponent hitting efficiencies in some matches have been 100 or less, in the back half of conference. So we certainly at times have shown some defensive grit to really make things hard on people. But I know there's a level of discomfort that everyone should feel with what our highest end volleyball is, right? I don't think that anyone should be comfortable, right? And if we can string together a couple matches, I think that identity will grow. And the fact that we haven't seen our very best yet is something that no one should be very comfortable with.
What have you seen in the scout of Utah State? You spoke a little bit about it, but is this a team that you had any familiarity with, and how do you kind of go through this process of trying to? Is it about them, or is it like you're going to have to play your match no matter what?
Yeah, when we talk about things, we talk about playing the match and not the moment, and usually we sometimes will joke that it's Minnesota versus Minnesota most nights, right, in terms of what we're capable of when we're playing our brand of volleyball. But not an unfamiliar opponent. Again, just someone that we've seen, a team that's come to kind of power in the Mountain West quickly in the last years, which always gets people's attention, and you're paying attention, and a coaching staff that we know and respect. And so, they play good, clean, fundamental volleyball, right? And it's certainly, that makes them formidable, against any opponent.
Is there a part of you that feels like this is a starting over point for this team, or does this feel like sort of the culmination of what you've been angling towards?
I think the tournament's a fresh start for every team, right? And a mistake you can make as a tournament team is walking in thinking that anything you did in the past matters in this moment, right? One thing I told the team yesterday is just teams can develop an identity in these last 3 weeks, and the learning accelerates in these moments, right? Just the intensity of the environment. I've seen players completely transform themselves over the course of 3 weeks and go from being good players to becoming All-Americans, and then having that totally change the course of their career. So the tournament is a formative place, right? If you can make it to that second weekend, and you can see someone change, in that moment, as they have success in difficult environments. So I think that's something that excites me, is just that there's an opportunity there for some of our athletes.
How do you view the trajectory of the season as a coach? I think about where you started, the middle of the season, when your team had to sort of regroup, find an identity that was going to pay to get you to this kind of place. I'm not asking you to wrap up your entire season. You have a ways to go here.
Yeah.
But as you sit in this moment, what has that felt like for you? What do you think about the work you've done, and how do you kind of categorize this season?
Yeah. it's just a reminder that I don't think learning is linear. You know, everyone has this idea that, you know, the improvement happens in a straight line, you know, that step by step, but there's ups and downs. But when you zoom out and you look at the list of things that this team has improved and where they were, I mean, we've gotten a chance to go back and watch, you know, the Creighton match, for example, which is early season, and compare that to where we are now. You know, the magnitude of the amount of work that the athletes has done finally, you know, dawns on you like, wow, we've done some things, and yeah, we're a new group here.
Is there anything that you are expecting of them in this tournament that you haven't asked of them yet this season?
I don't think so. Again, just the feeling, as if feelings matter in this moment, it's just we've been at this for a while now. The last 3 weeks, we've been playing in our own tournament mindset, right? And so everyone here is entering week 1. We're in week 4 of this, you know, in terms of our process, in terms of how we go about each day. We've tried to be in that way. So in this way, it feels like another week of what we've been doing.
What's your tournament routine? You know what I mean? How have you done it as a coach? What are the things that work for you as you try to process match to match, set to set, you know, moment to moment?
Yeah, for a lot of the season, you're applying pressure and you're trying to create growth and you're creating discomfort and you're leaning on them, you know, to create that growth. And then tournament, you kind of step back and let it out, you know, and is kind of the best way I can describe it. I think a colleague of mine said, you know, we bring skill in, you know, for a long period of time, and then in this moment we need to let skill out, you know, and so I think that's what I'm hoping we see from this group is we have not stopped pushing for growth all the way up until this last week, and now can we let them go and let them show what they're capable of.
It seems like you found a rotation. I wonder if you can just talk about that, especially kind of developing that back row with Julia and Elise and Zeynep all getting some, you know, added responsibility over the course of the season. And,
Yeah.
finding an offensive flow that seems to be working. Just what do you see from these players, and especially in that kind of settled, feeling like at least a little bit of a settled roster?
Yeah, we went through a lot of permutations looking for what was the right mix. You know, every team is a puzzle, and this puzzle lasted a little while. And but when we finally settled in here in the last month, you know, you started to see the little bits coming together to make it work. But yeah, it's not usually how you go about it. You know, you like to be 80% of the way there, you know, in the preseason, and then you make a few changes. But it took us longer to find what we needed in terms of a serving rotation and a receiving rotation, and to, you know, find some offensive balance out of the back row. And it takes what it takes. And you know, you can't bemoan how long it takes. You just have to keep searching until you find the right mix, and we think we found that.
Was that the players or you?
Yeah, I think players develop over the course of a season, right? And certainly we've asked a number of players to play different roles, right? And but some roles are difficult. Being a DS is difficult. Hitting out of the back row is difficult. Being a serving sub is difficult. Being in serve receive is difficult. And yeah, so it took some development, and then it took some tinkering. But again, I think what we've seen in the last back half of the Big Ten, we feel really good about.
Anything else for Coach? All right, all set.
See you next week.